Watching. I've asked Tyler Jacobson to give us an opening prayer to start, so.
Our Father in heaven, we're very grateful to be able to meet tonight to discuss the needs of Spanish Fork City, and we're very grateful for this wonderful, safe, clean community that we're able to live in. We're grateful for the wonderful people that live here and make it such a wonderful place to be, and we're grateful for the leaders, the mayor and city council who serve so faithfully to make this the wonderful place that it is to live. We pray thou please guide us in our decisions tonight, and pray thou please bless that thou will help us to understand what thou would have us do with this city. In the name of Jesus Christ, amen.
Amen.
Ask Councilman Mendenhall to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
The audience, please rise and repeat the pledge after me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Okay. Let's move on to public comments. Anyone in the audience that would like to come and address the mayor and the council, you're sure welcome to come up and do that right now. Seeing none, we'll go to council comments. Council Member Beck.
Okay. Well, I'm sure we're going to all go over a lot of things, so I will just go over a couple things. We've had a lot of fun events over the last couple of weeks. The Memorial Day service was phenomenal. I had never been. I've had several people through our community thank me and want to have me just give appreciation to those volunteers that were there that day. I know we had a lot of volunteers to put up the 1,800 flags, and it was just a really great service. I think my favorite part was listening to Clyde Swenson. He used to be on the city council. He told me for 20 years. So, Mike, you only have 2 years left.
That long left.
He 90 years old. He can't see very well, so he told us stories all from the heart, from his past, from memory, and he had dates and numbers, and it was just thrilling to listen to. So that was a really neat experience. Shout out to the Rodeo Champions Challenge last Saturday. I definitely think it was probably the best Champions Challenge, definitely the best bull riding I've ever seen. That was incredible. So if you missed it, be sure to order your Fiesta Days tickets. There's 4 nights, so be sure to get online and get those ordered. Speaking of Fiesta Days, I'm over that. Last night we had one of our last meetings. We have a great crew. We had pictures last night. All the events chairman and the city council and mayor were there, and we had pictures for the magazine. We're wrapping up the magazine. Everything is online, so the residents here in town can get online and see the 10 to 12 days worth of events. Some of the cool things I think are going to be really worth attending. The car show will be on Saturday the 23rd, I believe, and nope, the 16th. Sorry about that. Saturday the 16th, and they're going to have anywhere from 6 to 10 food trucks there. So I think that's going to draw quite a big crowd. And the Pyro Musical, that is fireworks to music, and that will be between the cemetery and Spanish Fork Junior High. That will be something really neat to go to. And then I wanted to just welcome our new co-chairs on our Fiesta Days committee, the Davies. And I just met them last night, and they're a great couple. They've already served 5 years on the Grand Parade committee, so I really think they know what they're doing, and we appreciate them coming in at such late notice and being willing to serve. And it looks like Clark's not here tonight, so a couple Chamber of Commerce events. Today we had the June Business of the Month. It was for Achiever Preschool. One thing I love about our chamber is that anyone is voted Business of the Month, from a small preschool that they do their best to be involved going to luncheons and such, but then it's big manufacturing businesses too. So today we were able to help celebrate Achiever Preschool on Canyon Road. They still have a couple openings for their preschool this fall, ages 3, 4, and 5. So if anyone watching needs to get their kids registered, 2 of my youngest kids went there and they do a great job. And then we're also gearing up, signing up space for the farmers market. That will start on July 30th. And the executive board met 2 weeks ago, and we decided to keep it strictly grown and edible products. We have several people asking to do crafts, and we just felt like that will deter from what a farmer's market truly is. So we're going to keep it a true farmer's market and move forward from there. That's all I've got.
Thank you. Councilman Gordon.
Mayor, on Friday and Saturday night, we had the mini and the little and the junior and the teen pageant. Stacy Argyle puts that together and has some help through the recreation department, and so that was fun to watch 40 or more girls compete for crowns, and had a daughter compete, and with 5 daughters, it was kind of fun. It was kind of fun to go down and watch, and I've been involved in that, and so I just thank all of them that put so much time and effort into that making this kind of a springboard for girls that want to do pageants further on down the road, and then the girls that decide they don't want to do it, hopefully my daughter, because it's not cheap. It's not cheap at all, dresses and all that stuff. But anyway, just really grateful for all those who serve and donate their time for things like that. Had a solid waste meeting. We approved our budget. In the budget, we had some discoveries. One of note is that there was a $27,000 increase in recyclable fees. Asia's not buying as much recycled material from us. It's sitting on the West Coast, for example, and the inspectors are sending a lot of it back, and a lot of different challenges with that. So we could potentially see a fee increase in recycling, but we're still weighing all those numbers and things of that nature, and we'll have more information on that. We had a very successful household hazardous event, joined up with the district and the county, and it was one of our most busy that we've ever had. And so thank everybody that takes advantage of being able to bring things to that are normally we would put into our landfill and take advantage of that. And so that's all I have tonight, Mayor.
Great. Councilman Scopes. Yeah.
Mayor, I am just happy to be here. Been out with
Thank you.
knee surgery, so got some catching up to do, but nothing to report at this time.
Good. We ought to put you on drugs more often. Get you right through here. That's good. All right. Legal drugs. Let's make sure we get that right.
Chief. Do it.
Yeah, that's
Bring in
good.
the dogs.
So, all right, Councilman Mendenhall.
Thanks, Mayor. Stacy mentioned the Champions Challenge. Again, not much more to say than she did, but thanks to Dale, the whole rodeo committee that involves the mayor and Steve Money and everybody that makes that a great success. That's such a neat thing to be part of a city and live in a city where a city has vision enough to make something like that a reality, and it doesn't happen a whole lot all over the nation. So it's a lot of effort. I know it's a lot of time, and it is sure fun to see those cowboys and those cowgirls that really appreciate us and again, they say every time they come here that this is one of their favorite places to come. So that's pretty neat that we're that accommodating, and it's fun to be in a city that has that kind of vision. Other than that, got a meeting coming up this Thursday, June 9th, for the South Utah Valley Municipal Water Agency that will approve our budget. I'll report on that next council meeting. And then Monday, June 13th, we have the League of Cities Legislative Policy Committee meeting, kind of the first one that goes before the upcoming session, and to see what what policies, what bills may be pushed to talk to our legislators about. So we'll report on that again next council meeting as well, and that's all I have, Mayor.
Great. Councilman Argal.
Most of it's been echoed. I just want to thank Chief Adams and his sergeant for fixing us dinner and allowing us to experience a little bang bang up there. I enjoyed that. Those guys it was nice to be up to the gun club with the rodeo contestants. As Steve was kind of explaining them to me and who they were, and some of them were number 1, number 2, number 3. Bull rider, bareback, and that was neat to rub shoulders and have dinner with them. Some of them weren't too good of shots at the skeet. There was a lot of birds that got away, but that was fun. I enjoyed that, and the championship challenge and having them here in our community, and I think they much enjoy that coming to Spanish Fork. And other than that, that's all I have, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Right on the lines of the Champion Challenge, it's like I say, it's an important event. We even have the governor come down and watch the rodeo with us, and so we appreciate to have those people come, and along with a lot of our other legislators that were there. So the only thing I'd like to talk about, everything else has been mentioned, that in case anybody didn't know, that our Spanish Fork Lady Dons took first place in the softball state championship, and our Maple Mountain boys soccer team took first place in the state championship. So they represented Spanish Fork well, and we appreciated both teams, and so that was awesome. Okay, let's go to we're done with council comments. Let's go to Spanish Fork 101. I guess Big Dave's going to take care of that for us.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Aaron Stern and Randy Kaufman are going to help me out here in just a second. I'll introduce something, and maybe, do you want to go ahead and get in the driver's seat over here? In the last council meeting, I mentioned something about some events that we have planned for this summer, for downtown area. And before Randy's done, I'll let her maybe go to some of those on the website here. But I do want to mention a couple in particular that we're pretty excited about. Recreation Department's been very, very helpful in helping to plan some things that we hope, really provide residents of the community with an opportunity to spend some time with their family, maybe to spend some time in part of the community that they might not otherwise visit very frequently downtown. So throughout the summer, we have events that are going to happen, either across the street from us here in City Park next to the library, or maybe a couple of blocks to the north around Memorial Square. Things like probably some type of car show, we have some craft fair type events planned, and we've got a movie in the park planned for a lot of the Mondays this summer. This is quality fare too. We're opening with the latest Star Wars movie on Monday night. It'll be a blast. Got some fun things planned for kids. Otherwise, it'll be a great time for families. We anticipate having quite a few food trucks that'll show up in connection with this. And that's the type of thing that we're introducing with the hope and the belief that it'll catch on and that'll become kind of a mainstay for the community. Again, just give people a reason to come out in the evening and enjoy some camaraderie with other Spanish Forkers and to spend some time downtown. So in addition to that, as we've worked fairly hard in the last couple of years to come up with different tools to use to try to direct interest to a few blocks of businesses along Main Street. One of the things that we felt was very important was providing those businesses with a platform where, in a communal kind of a way, as part of an actual collection of people that are working to promote their interests in a joint fashion, was some type of a web-based platform to provide advertising, to let people know what's going on, what exists, And Randy Kaufman has worked very, very hard in recent months to make this happen. And in just a second, I'll turn things over to Aaron Stern so he can kind of describe a little bit about how we've gotten to where we are today. But the genesis of this effort, I do think, is the CPAC group that was here a year ago. But we've kind of taken some of the recommendations that they've given us, and we've put our own spin on them. So, for example, they suggested that we develop some maps that, you know, maybe people that are visiting from out of town for things like the Champions Challenge, or maybe a shoot up at the gun club, could take to get familiar with the area and see what's going on. And we've kind of taken that concept and we've put it into play in a digital fashion. And I think, you know, that little bit of ingenuity that we've added to some of those recommendations will really pay in spades. And again, I appreciate Aaron and Randy's work, and I'll just leave it at that and turn things over to Aaron. And then Randy, if you don't mind, maybe before we finish up, just kind of go through the calendar page and show people what's going on.
Yep.
Okay, great, thanks.
Again, I'm Aaron Stern, Mayor, council members. We've done a lot of stuff over the last year or so, and we've got a lot of deliverables. And one of our deliverables was creating a presence, creating a brand. And what we've done is we've created a brand for downtown Spanish Fork, and we've called it Downtown on Main. So when people refer to downtown, they can say, hey, Downtown on Main, which pretty much encompasses 4th North down to about Center Street, 1st or 2nd South. And as part of that branding, we've created a website. And the URL is dtonmain.com, and it launched today. So this is the first incarnation of DT on Main. And what it does is it pretty much provides a portal or a single place that people can go and find out what's happening downtown in Spanish Fork. It provides a place for merchants to identify what they do. It's going to have coupons. It's going to have all sorts of information about the people that provide commerce downtown, but it also ties into events. Do you want to click on these?
Yeah, so
So it talks about some of the things that are downtown. For instance, Memorial Square, downtown events. Dave just spoke about the Monday movie nights. And then we also have the shopping.
I'll just show them the events.
Yeah, there's different ways. And I encourage everybody to go out and check it out. One thing we're doing as part of the commerce piece with the downtown merchants is we're providing a free listing for each and every merchant within the downtown area on the website. And then we'll have different packages if they want to upgrade, do some more advertising, provide coupons, blogs, drive customers to their websites, that sort of thing. It's been a pleasure working with this group of people. Anyone who's a merchant or a downtown property owner is more than welcome to come. Or people that are just wanting to know what's happening, they're always welcome to come to our meetings. So it's kind of been a combination of the city, property owners, merchants, and the Chamber of Commerce that have been involved in this.
I have a question. Can merchants that are not in the Center Street to 4th North area participate? For example, like down where April James was in there with the Italian place and they just moved. She said that was a really hard location for them to get exposure. So if someone else wants to be involved, are they allowed to be?
Yes, we're providing free listings for everybody within the designated area,
Okay.
but if somebody outside that area wants to be on the website, they're more than
They
welcome.
can be. Perfect. And they would just contact you or Randy?
Randy.
Okay.
Yeah, we will have a tiered system. We'll have our free listings. We'll have a peak listings that gives them a little bit more exposure on the site, and then our ultimate listing will actually give them access to having a blog feature about them. They can embed video, so if they have a YouTube commercial or something that they want to put in there, they get more photos and so
Okay.
forth with that. So we're just finaling up the details with that. So, but right now we're just focused on that downtown Main, like you said, and those businesses getting that input put into there for them. So it'll be, I don't know, do I have time? Do you want me just to do a quick run through? Okay, so basically when they come to this site, you have a couple different options. These are just a quick few little, if they click on, for instance, parks, a map of the area will pop up and our 2 parks will show. Sorry, oh, there we go. So we have our city park and Memorial Square. When they click on that, it will give them a few more details. We're working on getting the history about the parks and so forth, just a little bit more information with that. But again, it shows the address. They can click on the map to see specifically where the location's at. They'll be able to scroll through photos up here. So, and that's just, those are just our basic areas. So any historical features that we come across or want to promote as well for tourism or just for the citizens to know about, we'll be adding that on. So this is just basically phase one, was getting the information put together, getting the bones of it together. Phase two will be reaching out to the businesses to continue to get their information for their free listings, and then working on it becoming with some advertising and stuff, because the goal is to get this website to be self-sustaining with that. So, but there's a search bar, so if they want to look for something like a bank, and there we go. So there's Mr. Rock Canyon there for you. So right now,
How'd that
these are what
happen?
the free listings would look like. So they'd have their photos. They get up to 3 photos here. Show their location, a brief description. Click on their main website. Also, citizens can leave reviews as well, some positive experiences and stuff with that. So this is your basic listing right now.
Cool.
The one that will be closer to a featured one, which will give them this little featured tag there. So not all businesses will be featured, but as you can see here, a lot more photos here, more connections there. And then if they had a video, it would embed down here as well. And they can have more categories in that area. So it's just kind of a really clean way to find the businesses with that. We have some history about Spanish Fork, and again with the downtown events. We're working on getting those inputted right now, but again, they're all listed throughout here. All you have to do, it gives you brief description here, but you can click on the main site. It will tell you location, times, who to contact, who's the organizer, and so forth.
Did you go, you went to those businesses and asked them to submit those?
Those are ones I was able
Information.
to find publicly.
Yeah.
And so, one thing I did notice a lot, there'll be a lot of footwork. There's a lot of businesses that don't have web online foot
Presence,
track.
yeah.
And so we'll have to go do a lot of door to door and just explain to them what this is and the benefits of it with that. And I think with that first initial part of it being free, I hope that doesn't put them off from it, and then get to hear some of the benefits. Like we are currently just waiting for a part of this. It's called a plug-in. Unfortunately, the leaders of the plug-in are having some difficulty, so we're waiting to get that plug-in put in. But then we'll have coupons that can be specific to this site that will encourage merchants to use and not use in other places. But then that will drive traffic here and then give some perks. So.
Cool.
Well, Randy and Aaron, I know this is total volunteer time for you both, so thank you. This is an awesome website. It'll be fun to watch it grow over the next several years, and I'll go home and write some reviews because I've been there all. I'll just say the one council member's never in his office at that one bank.
Wow.
Oh, he'll be there tomorrow.
Yeah.
You can
Cool.
contact me. I can fix the reviews.
Cool.
Thanks, guys.
Hey, thank you very
Aaron.
much.
Thanks, Randy.
Appreciate that. Great service for the city. Once again, people taking charge and making good things happen. Okay. Consent items.
Make a motion, we approve the consent items.
Second?
I got a motion by Councilman Gordon, a second by Councilman Argal. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Oh, our favorite. Come on up, Kent. Let's go over our 2017 budget. You can
You
do
read the
it.
budget? I don't have anything else to say.
Perfect.
The police chief told me to say that.
Yeah.
He wants to go home.
I know that. And you'll enforce that for me, won't you? That's what I thought. I don't even know who I am now. You gave me two.
Anybody in the audience like a budget summary?
Now, why is it when I presented a budget, it was like this thick, and his is 3 pages?
He's been doing it longer. He's got it condensed.
Reader's Digest.
This is the
He's
Reader's,
listened to me.
this is the Reader's Digest version, but I'm gonna go really fast. And how many scouts here today?
I know.
Oh,
Did you bring candy for them? And,
Throw it
What a test.
oh, a test. No wonder they didn't show
So
up.
since the scouts are not here, you're gonna have to take the test,
oh,
okay? Are you ready?
ready.
We're gonna go fast.
I'm ready.
All right. So,
Scales of justice.
scales of justice, the city budget. How does this have to do with the city budget? Well, on one side, the city council has to balance tax dollars and public money, while on the other side, being able to provide the services and the infrastructure the city has. And so we can only spend so much money, and we can only do so many services. So you can't have unlimited on both sides, or taking all the tax money and not spending it, or other way around, trying to do too much services with no money. So it's a balancing that the department heads have to balance, the city council balances, and it's educational to the, so my question, one of them is, what is that?
Hello.
It's not a cow, empty silo.
That's the hole that Batman
It's
filled.
an empty silo. Okay, we've been through those lean years in the economy, through the recession, and we did go into our silo. We dipped into our savings, and through the hard times of not getting raises, the city employees know that, hiring freezes, and those years, we've experienced those years. And as economists say in the country, it's kind of on 8-year cycles. So every 8 years, it's kind of, you can plan on something that might, how bad it is the severity of it. And so, I know it kind of looks like me in that picture, but it's not me. In the fruitful times, or the strong economy, those are the years when you can start to put stuff back in those silos, and hopefully you have enough for the next time when there's a down cycle that you can recover from it. So it's the days of Egypt. There's the times of plenty and the times of famine. Our city and our country is no different. Right now, our economy is somewhat gaining. Our sales tax is gaining from where it was, and I'll have a slide on that in just a second. So here's your test question. Where does the city get the money?
Where's that scout?
And whose money is it? Okay,
Sales tax. It's the
okay, where do we get the money?
sales tax.
Okay, sales tax,
Property tax.
property tax,
Fees.
Speeding
fees.
tickets.
Did you see my slide?
I
Look at that.
No, that was.
And the last one.
He's got ESPN.
I've been in the budget meetings before.
Good job. And so, what's the other one? It's not taxes, it's not fees.
Utilities.
Yes, rates, which are utility rates or something else. So rates and fees are a little bit different, and then there's taxes, okay? Second question. So far, you've done very well.
Thank you.
Where does the city spend the money?
Vegas.
Wrong.
Donuts.
Okay, city services, quality of life, and infrastructure, security and reliability. Reliability in utility systems. Who likes water breaks in their neighborhood, sewer backups in their neighborhood, all those different services that the city provides. Last question. Does the public have a say on how the city gets to spend the public's money? In what ways do they have a say?
Budget public hearing.
Public hearing, the answer is yes. The say is you guys, for the most part. They don't get to vote on it, but they get to vote on you. And so they get representation through you as the city council and through the public hearing process, and also to be able to come and talk to you, and that's how they get that representation, to be able to talk to you. So very well as the scouts would probably do on that. Okay? So the timeline where we're at, this is mainly for those at home watching the budget. There's a cycle of a budget cycle. The third, we did a tentative budget and scheduled this hearing tonight. Tonight is the public hearing, an opportunity for the public to come and to give input to the city council in a public meeting. And that night, they adopted the tentative budget as tentative. Tonight is the public hearing, opportunity for input, and over the next 2 weeks, this document can still move a little bit. So Seth started with an 80-page document. No, I've not moved it down to a few pages, but I have given you the 10,000-foot vision of what that is to let you know where we're at in those amounts. I'm going to kind of show you where the numbers kind of got tweaked since the tentative, but most of them are about the same, just from some meetings we've already had since May. It's a moving document, nothing in stone at this point until June 21st is when it will be finally adopted. So we got 2 more weeks of input. The public can call the council. They can come in and ask questions to the budget officer or any department head and try to see what we can do. Okay, so this year's budget compared to last year's budget is about $5 million more. That sounds, well, if government's growing, we're getting too big, $5 million more since last year. But there are a couple of items that are on there. Some are grants in this next year's items. There's about $3 million in grants, and so those monies need to be budgeted and then spent. So that's an increase in revenue in those monies. There's also cost increase. Utilities, our powers have gone, our electric power costs have gone up. Those are some things that are all rolled into the total as far as our $5 million of an increase since last year. I'll show you a couple of those. So this year's budget has a budget letter. Seth wrote that budget letter, and that's available online. You can look at that. And we will try to update the current version of the budget. The tentative one is what's adopted. That's what's on the budget on the city website right now. So that's what the public's going to see. I do have this one that's been tweaked just a little bit on different projects. The department heads have been going through looking at, is this going to get done by June, or are we going to is it going to have to be pushed to July? Is there something else that's come up in the last month that we need to know? We need to do that now. So there's some give and take, at least in which budget year the expenses are going to fall into. These are all the things inside the budget. I won't go through each one of those, but it gives an explanation of what all the different funds are, the fees and rates that are available there. I'm going to talk about some of those major changes. So what makes up the $79 million in our budget? We have $22 million in the general fund, it's $47 in the utility type funds, and then we have $9.5 million in miscellaneous funds, which are those capital projects where some of the grant money is at. Okay. So here's a pie chart that shows proportionally, gives you an idea of where we sit with the $79 million that's in there. So the enterprise funds definitely are a larger portion for the water and the electric and the PI and the storm drain and the garbage and those types of things. So here's the summary of by department in the general fund. So you can see down at the bottom, this is the $22 million. What makes up that $22 million? Well, these are all the services that are provided by the city on that scale of we're trying to provide the services to the public in each one of these. So we have, for example, police, fire, ambulance, animal control, and what their individual budgets are and what they've done in the last year. So like, for example, police has increased to $250,000. And library, $41 million. So you can see those.
41,000.
41,000, that's right. That'd be a nice building. Has a
You got our
license.
attention.
Just checking, see if the scouts are listening.
Wow.
So it tells you, it gives you an idea of those are the main services the city provides besides utilities in each one of those. Gives you an idea of what it costs inside each one of those. And I'm going to come back to this slide and show you which ones pay part their way and which ones we rely taxes on. So the next one, let's talk about the enterprise funds. These are the utility services the city provides: water, sewer, electric, garbage, storm drain, broadband, and we're up to $47 million in there. So you can see a dramatic increase in some of those. And a lot of the increase in the budget in those has to do with some infrastructure things that we need to build. One is in the sewer plant. I'm going to go through some of the specific projects in just a few minutes, but that gives you an idea of where the increases is and how the 41 million is divided up within each one of those departments. Okay, the miscellaneous ones, we have B&C roads. That's the stuff that makes our roads nice and smooth, and trying to clean up all the PI potholes that happened 10, 15 years ago. We're finally getting to a lot of those streets and fixing those up. So we have $1.2 million going in for roads and sidewalks and to maintain our roads. That's mostly that money, that 1.2 million is for the stuff on the ground. The wages for the department is covered in the general fund. And so the B&C is actually, $1.2 million is going for the asphalt and projects. So capital projects, you can see that there's an increase there on the capital projects. One of that's a $3 million grant that we're doing with the trail system. That'll be a big one. Okay. And I'm just going to buzz through these ones, these are the changes. Okay, this is one I wanted to show you. So if you look at each one of these general fund services or budgets inside here, this shows you what the expense is to run that department and then what revenues come from that department as far as trying to earn their own money. You can see some have a little bit of surplus, but most of them are requiring a supplement to be able to provide that service. For example, library. Library, the expenses are $800,000 this year, and the memberships and overdue books collect $60,000. So there's a need for a supplement of $700,000 this year for the work at the library. And then when you get down to see where the supplement is, we need about $11 million to come in to help the general fund that's not being provided within their own revenues of fees or fees or rates inside those things. So where do we get most of that money? It's through taxes. It's through our property taxes, our sales taxes, and energy and telephone and cable. Those are the taxes. The rest down here are fees and charges for services that we do. So you can see where the supplement comes in the sales tax and property tax area. Here's what our sales tax has done over the last 18 to 20 years or so. You can see where we hit the recession right here. We had a little recession here, a little recession here as we cycle through. You can see since the time the city council made that decision to get a catalyst of Costco and the economy start to come back, our sales taxes had a growth, and that's helped us maintain the services, put stuff back into the silos that we've used up over this period of time. And so financially the city is doing well and able to meet their obligations and to provide good quality of life services. And sales tax, of course, it's tough to become reliable on sales tax. It would be nice to have property taxes stayed mostly current. We just mainly get a little bit of new growth, new buildings that come in. But for the most part, the tax on individual houses hasn't changed much for the city's portion of it over the last several years. So here's some major projects that are going to be covered in this year's budget in the general fund. So these are mainly just coming out of the general fund. New cover of equipment, dog parks, some trails, the clubhouse expansion is in the general fund, the boiler at the pool, and some street improvements that I listed before. Here's some major projects that are out in the enterprise funds as far as water, sewer, and it gives you an idea of what some of those areas are. The big $3 million one, there's $2 million for a lift station that's budgeted, whether that project goes to completion or is the start of it. That's one of the biggest expenses that we have this year is a sewer lift station, which is $2 million just for that one. Some major improvements at the sewer plant as far as $1 million for these two items to help the sewer plant to maintain what it needs to, electric upgrades, broadband, fiber to the home. this year's budgeting over $1 million to start that process. It'll be a couple of years of that same amount to go into that project. Big projects on storm drain with the Larson School and a subdivision at that address are going to get makeovers for new storm drain. Trails, there's the big grant and the capital projects as far as the grant money that's coming in. This year, we tried to get the cemetery more curb and gutter, but I don't think it's going to get done, so it's going to roll. It was in 16, it's going to roll to 17. That was a change from the tentative budget. Here's a list of the equipment that we're buying for next year. This is on a rotation as far as the lives of each one of these. So you can, for example, you see the police cars, there's 6 cars there, what type they are, the years of life they are, and the budgeted amount, and then the depreciable value that the motor pool buys the vehicles, and then this is a lease charge that goes to the police department to pay for that vehicle over the life of the year. So it's $9,000 a year for 6 years for that one car. And that's how our vehicles are maintained, and there's a rotation of equipment that goes in and out each year, and this is all the stuff that's planning to be bought in the year of 2017. Here's the dividend. That's approval to have a dividend gift transfer from the utilities back to the general fund. When I talk about that $11 million that's needed in the general fund, sales tax is a good chunk of that. This also helps in doing some of those projects that are inside the general fund. As we assess this year is a 3.5% off the retained of their gross revenues as far as a payment to the a shareholder payment to the general fund. The general fund, all the citizens are shareholders in those utilities, and this is an opportunity for them to help contribute to the quality of life services that are inside the general fund to provide these types of services that have enough revenue themselves. As far as rate changes, here's a summary of the rate changes or no changes. Property tax, there's no property tax increase this year like last year. And there's a couple of minor adjustments, pole attachments, cemetery fee, some tweaks in like our fire trucks. We establish an hourly rate if they want to rent or somebody needs a certain vehicle for a certain reason. There's some charge rates for those, some miscellaneous things. As far as the utility rates, garbage is going to tweak up just a little bit to cover some of the added expenses there. No change in recycling. Storm drain goes up a little bit. Water is being established to a tier system. Right now it's a flat rate. Now it's going to establish that the 6K is 6,000 gallons to 18,000 gallons will have this rate. And if you go over 18,000 gallons, then you're going to have a higher rate. The state's requiring us to have a tiered rate system, and that's how the city's applying that state requirement. PI, no change. Sewer, no change. Electricity, no change. There is going to be an increase a little bit in it, but it's going to happen through the PCA. But our base rate is going to be the same, and the PCA fluctuates based on what our costs are of power we buy from UMPA. So we're going to pass the straight raw cost that the UMPA charges the increase to the city. That's going to go right to each one of the rate classes for electricity. It's going to add it on to residential, add it on to commercial, and add it on to large power of that same PCA rate. Impact fees, these are the new impact fees that have been discussed and approved, will go into effect. 2 new ones that are coming on would be the public safety and the transportation based on what type of store or item that's being built. This will be the second year. Okay. It looked like it was, then we need to change that. The prior year's number needs to change then. As far as this public hearing, we need to have a discussion on the fees and donation waivers. This is a list that is established at this meeting, and if no one can necessarily be added to this unless we have another public hearing sometime during the year. So if somebody comes and wants to have their fee waived for some certain reason, if it's on this list, then it doesn't need another public hearing. But if it's not on this list, then you have to go through a public hearing before you can waive a fee or give a donation. One of the new ones that we added, I think last year for part of the year was the Icelandic one, so it's still kind of highlighted there, saying it's a newer one. So in your thoughts or discussion, if you think of anybody else that has requested, it can be discussed, and then the council would say, yes, put that on for, and it would be approved, and when the whole budget gets adopted, then it can be added to it. So that's inside that document. Also, you can have an opportunity to look through that. The Springville Spanish Fork Airport is also included, though it's part of Springville's budget per se, but we added in ours for the council to give their blessing. Our proportional share into their operation or capital is half of that. So it's donation from the city. So if you split 105,000 in half, that 52,000 is and a half is our share that goes into that. How long that stays that way. Some years we don't have any assessment. The last 2 years we've had 50+ thousand as being what it is. They're doing the apron, redoing the asphalt and stuff like that. So here's their operational budget, while that one was their capital budget. This is their operational budget that they use. And most of they collect their own revenue on the rentals, the hangar rentals and stuff like that. And they do have expenses, but sometimes when there's capital items, they come back to the cities to help up. We have to supplement to do the capital items that are there. So again, this is the budget. It's 79 million. It's not to be approved for tonight. It's just, this is to introduce again to the public and let the public have an opportunity to talk about it. And I do have another slide for the RDA, but I'll wait for that one until we get into the RDA. So that's all I have.
Thanks, Kemp. I'd entertain a motion to go into public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion by Councilman Mendenhall, a second by Councilman Scob. We're now in public hearing. Anyone here would like to come up and ask any questions about the budget? Feel free. Don't all rush up once. Great. If not, I'd entertain a motion to go out of public hearing.
So moved.
Got a motion
Second
by
that.
Councilman Gordon, second by Councilmember Beck. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right. Any other questions, comments?
Not right now.
We're good.
Thanks, Kent. I think it goes without saying that everybody from the mayor and city council invites the public to come talk to us. It's like you said, that's how you talk about the budget when you have the hearing, and no one's here to talk specifically about it, but I know we all talk to people that talk to us all the time about the budget, so we look forward to that conversation over the next few weeks.
Okay. Moving to new business, board appointments. We have a vacancy on our planning commissioner. One of our members is going off, served his terms. Brad Gonzalez, we want to thank him for his service. And I would propose that we appoint Dave Euler to that board.
I make that motion, Mayor, to appoint Dave Euler to the Planning Commission.
Second.
Got a motion by Councilman Mendenhall, a second by Councilman
Argal.
I'm here. Argal. I'll get there. Didn't get much sleep last night, sorry. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, thank you. UMPA plat.
So this is a little bit of a unique situation. This is not for plat approval, since this is a minor plat. It's approved by the DRC, and that has been done. But we are the applicant. We are on the property, we're selling the parcel to UMPA. And because we're creating a new parcel, it goes through the subdivision process. So the purpose of this is here tonight is to approve the mayor to sign the plat as the owner. And then that can proceed.
I'd entertain a motion to do what he just said.
I'll entertain a motion to approve the UMPA plat.
Yeah.
Oh, dang.
To authorize the mayor to sign.
Authorize the mayor to sign as owner.
Second.
Got a motion by Councilman Beck, a second by Councilman Gordon. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, thank you for that vote of thanks to sign. Larson and Company, Independent Audit Service.
By state law, the state auditor requires independent audit, and we've had Larson Company audit, and they're a local firm, and they propose to continue doing it for another 5 years at raising the audit fee only $400 per year, and it's the council hires the auditor, so that's a request for that to renew for another 5 years.
You also sent out to us as a council comparisons with other cities, so I think that's important to note that we've looked and we're getting a good service for a good price. So
All right, I'll entertain a motion.
I move that we approve Larson and Company Independent Auditing Services.
second.
Got a motion by Councilman Scobes, a second by Councilman Gordon. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Redevelopment Agency. Should we go into public hearing first? RDA.
Motion, we go into RDA.
Second.
Got a motion, we go into RDA. Got a motion by Councilman Gordon, a second by Councilman Mendenhall. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, we are now in RDA.
Motion to approve the consent items.
Second.
Got a motion by Councilman Gordon, a second by Councilman Argal. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Now motion to go into public hearing in
My gosh.
Move that we go into public hearing in RDA.
Second.
Got a motion by Councilman Scopes, a second by Councilman Argal, go into public hearing in the RDA. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We're now in public hearing, Kent. Now you can
This is
get
going
up.
to be shorter than the last one.
Thank you.
I heard that. This is the RDA budget, and you, now as a city council, you sit as the RDA, and the mayor is the chairman of the RDA. And we have 3 active RDAs right now that are receiving tax increment, and they're the North Industrial, the Kirby Lane, and the Wasatch Wind. So North Industrial is down Main Street, takes in Jahabo and Shopko and Cal Ranch, a couple of those down Main Street, and we're receiving a couple more years of tax increment for that, and we're using that money for different projects. And so if you can see down here, public, oh, that's not a very good one. Let me try this one. So we're budgeting, we're going to use up about $1 million on different types of projects that'll be in the RDA for that area. The money that's captured in that area can only be used to benefit that area. The Kirby Lane one is SAPA, in which they're contributing property tax in theirs, and that area out there is also receiving growth, and we can use some of that money to improve some of the infrastructure out by SAPA and the commercial and industrial area out there. The other one is the Wasatch Wind, is the windmills at the mouth of the canyon. We're under a contract with them, and we have to share some of that increment back to the windmill company, and we pass the remaining of that on to the tax entities. And so the school district receives the pass-through of the 30% of their share to them. And the rest of it will flow until the windmill company receives their full payment, and there's about 2, maybe 3 years left on that windmill agreement. And then after that, the full amount of the tax increment. So right now there's $300,000 that is being taken for that agreement, and then in about 3 more years, that full $300,000 is going to fall through to the school district and stuff. There's already stuff falling through to the school district and to the city, the 30%, 70% goes to the windmill. And then once they're paid off on the contract, the full amount goes to all the taxing entities, which is a pretty good deal because there's not any employees or children to educate or stuff like that as far as the infrastructure, and yet the property taxes will be there to flow through to the school and to the city, so that's good. The Sierra Bonita one, this may be the year we trigger that one. It is the Young Living building, if you remember that agreement. If you look out there, you can see they built the building, they're getting it ready, and so it's a decision when are they going to pull the trigger to capture their increment, because there's an agreement with them that we would give them some of that the increment of just the new building portion. The old building portion still goes to the school district, still goes to normal places. So it's just the property taxes on the new portion of that building that's under agreement to them. A portion goes back to them until they get paid back, and tell them thank you for building their building and keeping the jobs here. And then after they're paid back over a number of years, then that full amount then also will be like the windmills, will trickle back through all the taxing entities. And so you can see the agreement to them is if they're gonna pay 200,000 in property tax, we're gonna be giving back to them 125. So there's a little bit that flows through that's not there, but the rest of it remains with the city in the RDA. Okay? So in total, then, this red arrow then shows what, this is the budget that will be approved, not tonight, but it's input tonight on that budget, and on the 21st, we're gonna have the opportunity for the RDA to reconvene and adopt this budget on that day. So that's all I have.
Right.
Thank you.
Anybody from the public would like to come make a comment on this budget for the RDA? Seeing none, I would entertain a motion to go out of public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
A motion by Councilman Gordon, a second by Councilman Scope. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay,
Make a motion, we go back into city council?
Second.
got a motion by Councilman Gordon, a second by Councilman Mendenhall. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Lovely.
Make a motion, we go into closed session?
Second.
Got a motion by Councilman Gordon, a second by Councilman Mendenhall to go into closed session. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We are done. Thank you for everyone that came and witnessed this.